everyone, and welcome to Love Notes, your Friday night ritual inside the Passion Zone. I'm Allie Theiss, and tonight is Valentine's Eve. Oh, yes. Tomorrow the world explodes into red roses, crowded restaurants, price inflated flowers, heart shaped everything, and subdue, but sometimes not so subdue, pressure. Oh, yeah. There always seems to be so much pressure around Valentine's Day to have somebody, to be romantic, right? To prove your love publicly in front of everybody. It's a lot of pressure. But tonight, no, tonight is something quieter, it is stronger, and more intentional. Tonight is about the love you choose. And again, we talk. We don't want you to chase. We don't want you to have to tolerate. What kind of relationship is that? What kind of love looks impressive on the outside? But the love you choose consciously over and over again. That's what we're looking for. And Valentine's Day, well, it can magnify insecurity, can it? Yes, indeed, you do. If you're single, you might think, well, you're behind everybody else. If you're partnered, it could suggest that your love should look bigger and flashier and louder than everybody else's. But real love is not seasonal, okay? You don't do big things a couple times a year and consider that love. It really is the little things. Real love is deliberate in your day to day life. And tonight, we're going to reclaim Valentine's Day from performance and returning to no choice. Oh, that was just interesting. Did you see the kitty cats in the paws? Because I'm like, where did that come from? It said thank you with all these different kitty cat paws. Well, how fun was that? I've never seen that before. That was kind of cool. Like, wow. Um, Come on, it's kitty cats and paws. What can go wrong there? It was cute. It was very cute. Now, the poem I'd like to talk about tonight is Love as Self Respect, and it's an excerpt from Milk Honey by Rupi Kaur. And this goes: You must want to spend the rest of your life with yourself first before you can give it to someone else. How you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. Do not mistake attention for love. Do not mistake intensity for devotion. Right? Right. You know, this poem can cut right through the Valentine Day noise. Before you can choose somebody, you have to choose yourself. You must know that you are worthy of choosing and being chosen well. Self respect shapes how you do romantic standards. If you abandon yourself, you'll tolerate abandonment, right? If you silence your needs, you'll accept being unheard. But when you love yourself deeply, you stop mistaking attention for intimacy, and that changes absolutely everything. So, TikTok has let me know that my internet connection, for some odd reason, is wonky tonight. I don't know why that would be. But if I go in and out, if we have a difficult time about to go to our dedications and songs, you're going to know why. Something's going on with the internet connection. What can you say? But first up, this first dedication we're going to do comes from Marissa. And Marissa hails from the Windy City. That's right, Chicago. Every February, she used to wonder if somebody would surprise her. This year, she surprised herself by choosing somebody who was already in her life and making her priority number one. That was awesome. And she asked me to play This Must Be the Place by Talking Heads. I haven't heard this song in decades. So let's give I haven't listened to The Talking Heads is probably the 90s. That's definitely an 80s song. But that was dedication for the week or for the first dedication. So don't forget, if you'd like to make a dedication, by all means, please do so. You can go to the link in the profile and click on it, take you to my Etsy store, and then you have to get to another link to get to the dedication page, or you can go directly to thepassionzone.com, look at love notes, click on it, and that'll take you to the dedication page. And if you're listening to the podcast version, of course, you know where the link is. It's below in the show's notes. Nice and easy. Look down. There it is. Bingo bammo. It all works, right? So that song isn't dramatic. I'm not quite sure what that song is. it's it's steady, I guess. It's repeating, it's comforting, right? Um, kind of like how you want your home, how you want your relationship, a nice steady relationship, a nice comforting relationship. And when you have something that's steady, it steadies your heartbeat, right? And it helps to reduce all of the outside stress that is everywhere in the world. No matter where you look, there's some stress. It doesn't matter where you live, it's always there. Now, coming up next, we're going to talk about the romance book of the week. And this week we have Wedding Date. This was published back January 30th, 2018, so a few years ago. And it's a story that begins on a level of convenience and it evolves into emotional clarity, which I can honestly say most people would like in their relationship. What makes the story powerful on its own is it's not a destiny type of fated kind of relationship. It's more about a relationship that matures and grows. It's two people who choose to explore something real rather than trying to perform and be flashy. It's a reminder that romance is not about perfection. It's all about honesty. And if you're joining me live here on TikTok, why don't you give me a heart or two? If emotional intelligence is more important to you than theatrics, and I would hope it would be for that part. Which brings us to, that's right, dedication number two. Now, this is from Dave in North Carolina. And he says, "Aw, 23 years later, and I still choose you." Oh, and this is a good one from the 80s for sure. It is Open Arms from Journey. That was Open Arms from Journey. That was my first solo concert I went to without parents. They took a friend and I there, and then came to pick us up. But the concert itself was just me and one of my girlfriends, and it was an absolute blast. It was held in the Richfield Coliseum here in Ohio, and it was a really good concert. I wish I could remember who opened for them, but I have absolutely no clue. This would have been back in 82, I think, whenever this album was released. It was fun. It was an absolute blast. And the song Open Arms isn't about fireworks. It's all about vulnerability and being open. Long-term love is not something that's on autopilot, right? It's choice. It's choosing somebody, it's being with somebody even after the arguments. What's the matter, kitten? I got a cat in here meowing. Even after the arguments, after exhaustion, after real life and stress test the both of you. And for these two, 23 years later, they're still choosing one another, which is fantastic. That's not luck, it's devotion and it's work, which what happens when you have relationship. Relationships take work. It's not the fairy tale you see in TV or the movies. It'd be nice if it was every once in a while. But relationships take consistent work with one another. It takes two people to make a relationship work and one person to blow it up. So it takes work from the people. Which brings us to our desire drop of the week. And we're talking about this week desire being a decision. Okay? Desire is not something you force, it's not performative, it's not something for social media. Everything seems to be for social media these days. Even though I'm on a social media platform right now doing this, it's just that there's so much posing for people. And you ask yourself when it comes to desire, am I choosing this person or Am I reacting to loneliness? Do I desire who they truly are, or are you zoned in on who they may become? Is my attention grounded, or am I anxious? You'll notice the difference, trust me on these. Desire always seems to deepen when it is rooted in truth. And when you consciously choose someone, desire tends to stabilize. And stable desire is magnetic. And it's a whole lot of fun. And it enables both of you to do a lot of exploration. Those are the fun things about being in a relationship with somebody, is all the different things you can explore. Whether it is inside the bedroom or outside the bedroom, traveling, dishes, games, locations, hotels, situations, bars, pubs. There's a lot of things that you could experiment with. Inside the bedroom's a bit more fun than outside the bedroom, but it's the two of you together trying something new is what's important. Which brings us to the third dedication of the evening. And this one came in with no name, so it's anonymous. And they write, "This year I bought myself flowers and I loved it." Excellent. I'm so happy you bought yourself flowers. Everyone deserves flowers. And the song this person requested, I know this is shocking, but it's Flowers by Miley Cyrus. I love this song. So here's all to the powerful people in the world who are not with somebody in a relationship and they still treat themselves wonderfully. So that was Flowers by Miley Cyrus. Yes. And self love, it is not second place. It's not what you do when you're waiting for somebody to come along. It is the foundation every healthy relationship you will ever have. When you stop outsourcing your worth, you stop begging for crumbs. Ha! Drop me a little heart in the chat here if you're joining me live on TikTok if you reclaimed your value. I sure hope you have, for sure. Now, coming up to one of my favorite parts of Love Notes, and this is all about soulful connections. And tonight we're talking about sacred union is a choice, and it is. Valentine's, it's about romance, right? It's about little Cupid in his heart. Sacred union is about alignment. Sacred union asks, are our values aligned? Do we respect each other's growth? Can we disagree? This is important. Can we disagree without destabilizing the connection? Soul connections are not defined by intensity. They're not defined by integrity. When two people choose each other from clarity, not fear, that is sacred. Now, our visualization this evening is also sacred union is a choice. And yeah, let's settle in, shall we, everybody? Get nice and comfortable wherever you're at, right? Just if you're driving, please don't get comfortable on the road. Yeah, you don't want to switch to a song while I'm doing this. Um, but why don't you allow your body to become still instead of adjusting your breath? Allow your awareness to widen. Feel the space that's all around you. Notice the subtle hum beneath the silence, the quiet current of energy that exists even when nothing is moving. Gently bring your attention to the center of your chest. There is a undercurrent of a pulse there. It's not heaviness of a heartbeat, but it could be something quieter. A presence, a knowing. Now imagine that pulse expanding outward, forming a sphere of soft light around you. This sphere is intelligent. It filters noise. It softens distraction. It creates sacred containment. Within this sphere, nothing is required of you. No performance, no proving, no pleasing. Sacred union begins in this space. The decision to stand with yourself rather than abandoning yourself. Let that land for a moment. A shift begins. In the distance, something luminous starts to take form. Rising from a horizon of silver mist stands a vast crystal palace. Its architecture is both ancient and futuristic. Soaring spires covered with translucent quartz, archways faceted like diamonds, walls that refract light into cascading prisms. Every surface glows from within as though infused with living consciousness. Light does not merely reflect here, it multiplies. The air surrounding the palace feels charged, almost electric. Fine particles of golden light float in the atmosphere, moving in slow spirals. A subtle harmonic tone hums through the structure like a choir holding a single perfect note. This palace vibrates at a higher frequency. Each crystal wall acts like a tuning fork, amplifying truth and solving distortion. Illusion cannot survive here. Comparison cannot root itself here. Self doubt cannot stabilize here. As you approach, the vibration begins to interact with your own energy field. A gentle recalibration starts. Dense thoughts loosen. Old narratives crack like thin glass. The weight of invisibility begins to dissolve. Beneath your feet, a crystal pathway responds to your presence. Light ripples outward with every step, as though the palace recognizes your signature. Recognition feels different from validation. Recognition is remembering. The towering doors, carved from a single slab of crystal, part effortlessly. No force is required. Alignment opens what effort cannot. Cross the threshold. Inside, the palace reveals its full magnificence. Cathedral high ceilings shimmer like constellations suspended in glass. Massive pillars rise in spirals etched with the sacred geometric patterns that pulse faintly with light. Floor beneath you is clear crystal, yet impossibly strong, revealing a radiant glow beneath, as if the entire structure floats above a field of pure energy. Sound behaves differently here. Footsteps echo in harmonic resonance rather than a sharp impact. Breath becomes musical. Even silence carries some texture. At the center of the grand chamber stands a circular dais formed from layered crystal plates. Each layer rotates slowly in the opposite directions, generating a soft vortex of luminous energy. Step onto the platform. Frequency meets frequency. As crystalline current rises through your body, something stabilizes at your core, unmistakable, grounded, sovereign. Garments begin to form around you, woven from liquid light and prismatic brilliance. Silver and gold threads move across the fabric like living constellations responding to your breath. At your brow, a structure of luminous geometry settles into place, alignment made visible. What stands here now is your sovereign self, embodied, remembered, consciously chosen. Power feels different in this state. Striving falls away. Approval loses relevance. Negotiation with your own worth dissolves. Choosing sacred union means no longer fragmenting yourself to secure belonging. Strength and tenderness coexist without contradiction. Voice aligns naturally with truth. Wholeness becomes the baseline rather than the aspiration. Throughout the Crystal Palace, you sense that frequency responds immediately to coherence. Greater integrity produces brighter light along the walls. Deepened self trust refines the harmonic tone humming through the architecture. Performance holds no value in this chamber. Coherence, however, amplifies everything. Across the vast crystal floor, other sovereign beings begin to emerge. Some carry grounded, steady presence like an ancient stone. Others radiate with fluent brilliance, shifting like flame refraction through the glass. Masculine currents flow, feminine currents flow. Balanced expressions move between both. Higher frequency leaves no space for a higher hierarchy. Comparison loses traction here. Resonance takes place. Your light strengthens the field around you rather than competing within it. Calibration happens naturally. Contribution replaces contraction. And the fine strands of energy extend between you and all the others that are there with you, acknowledging shared sovereignty and conscious union. Sacred union lives within integration. Sacred union expands through connection. Sacred union remains a deliberate choice. Integration begins naturally. Notice how your body feels inside this higher frequency. Observe the steadiness in your spine. Sense the warmth in your chest. What part of you feels the most aligned? What part of you feels newly permitted to exist? The palace hums softens slightly, stabilizing your energy so that you can carry it back with you. Nothing is left behind. It is encoded within you. With one final glance at the crystal vastness, acknowledge the truth. Sacred union is always available. Frequency is always adjustable. Visibility is always a choice. Awareness starts to return gradually to your physical space. Subtle movements return to your fingers. Weight shifts gently throughout your body. External sounds come back into focus. Carry the elevated frequency with you and open your eyes when you are ready. Move forward differently, not because you're trying harder, but because you're no longer fragmenting yourself. Sacred union is always choice. Choose it again tomorrow. And that is our visualization this week, everybody. I like the Crystal Palace. Trying to change the settings every time we do this each week. I think last week we did the beach. This week we're in the middle of a Crystal Palace. I like the Crystal Palace feels. And this brings us to the romantic movie of the week, which is called About Time. And this movie teaches something, a little bit profound, that love is not about one perfect day. Right, kitten? Love is not about one perfect day. It is not. It is about choosing the same person in ordinary moments. The magic isn't on February 14th, Valentine's Day. It's February 13th, the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and beyond. The ordinary, the everyday life, is what makes love special, strong, and something you can count on for sure. Kind of like my cat behind me. If you're joining me here on TikTok, I'm sure you can see him. It is the kitten. He is trying to make himself known. Actually, what he's trying to do is to get me to go to sleep. He's ready for bed and he wants me to go. to bed. I'm not quite done yet. Why? Because we still have number 4, dedication. Yes, indeed, you do. Now remember, if you want to put a dedication out for next week, please follow the link below in the show's notes if you're listening to the podcast. You can go to thepassionzone.com, click on Love Notes, go to the dedication there. You can also click on the link in my profile here on TikTok that takes you to my Etsy store. But in my Etsy store, if you scroll down out in the About section, it'll take you to Love Notes. All right. And that's something else I want to mention about Love Notes is we have Substack version now. Try doing my best to get that up and running. It's called Love Notes Unscripted. And this is where I put the podcast versions and also different articles that are throughout the week about Love Notes. All right, so dedication number 4 here is from Camellia in Miami. And she says, "You didn't chase me, and that's why I stayed." There you go. And they request Best Part, which is from HER featuring Danielle, not, no, Daniel, there we go, Daniel Caesar. So, provided I can get my mouse to move in all the correct places, let's go ahead and play this song. And that song was The Best Part from HER featuring Daniel Caesar. And I got a cat here who's trying to take, no, you do not get my water. Keep moving. You do not get my water. No, that's what he's trying to do. A little scoundrel's trying to get my water. So, ease is underrated, right? The best part of love isn't the adrenaline it brings, it's the comfort. It's not about decoding mixed signals. It's not about wondering where you stand. It's a knowing that the two of you are safe together. All right. And let's not forget, I have Love Notes Unscripted on Substack. It's just getting started. That's where I'm putting the podcast versions of this show. And hopefully, once time's a little bit more permitting, I will also be writing articles that'll go on Love Notes Unscripted as well. And it's a place to explore love without filters and without performance and certainly without pressure. Don't like pressure at all. So tomorrow the world will tell you what love is supposed to look like, right? On Valentine's Day. Tonight, you decide what love actually is. It's the love you choose, it's the love that aligns, and it's the love that stays. The love that feels like home, right? Happy Valentine's Eve, and I will see you next Friday. It's usually about an hour-ish, give or take. We're about 6 to 10 p.m. here on the East Coast. I come on live at 9 p.m. on Eastern Time on every Friday. So I hope you join me, and if you don't join me live, at least listen to the podcast version. All right? Thank you so much, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week. All right, guys. Bye-bye.